Pantheism. Question. Is God a being distinct from the universe, or is he, according to the opinion of some, the result of all the forces and intelligences of the universe? Answer. If the latter were the case, God would not be God, for he would be effect and not cause. He cannot be both cause and effect. God exists. You cannot doubt his existence, and that is one essential point. Do not seek to go beyond it. Do not lose yourselves in a labyrinth which, for you, is without an issue. Such inquiries would not make you better. They would rather tend to add to your pride, by causing you to imagine that you knew something, while in reality you would know nothing. But put aside systems. You have things enough to think about that concern you much more nearly, beginning with yourselves. Study your own imperfections that you may get rid of them. This will be far more useful to you than the vain attempt to penetrate the impenetrable. Oh, that's a good answer. Next question. What is to be thought of the opinion according to which all natural bodies, all the beings, all the globes of the universe are part of the divinity and constitute in their totality the divinity itself, in other words, the pantheistic theory? Answer. Man, not being able to make himself God, would fain make himself out to be at least a part of God. Question. Those who hold this theory profess to find it in the demonstration of some of the attributes of God. The worlds of the universe being infinitely numerous, God is thus seen to be infinite, vacuum or nothingness being nowhere. God is everywhere. God being everywhere, since everything is an integral part of God, he is thus seen to be the intelligent cause of all the phenomena of the universe. What can we oppose to this argument? Answer. The dictates of reason. Reflect on the assumption in question, and you will have no difficulty in detecting its absurdity. Now here's the author's words. The pantheistic theory makes of God a material being, who, though endowed with a supreme intelligence, would only be on a larger scale what we are on a smaller one. But as matter is incessantly undergoing transformation, God, if this theory were true, would have no stability. He would be subject to all the vicissitudes and even to all the needs of humanity. He would lack one of the essential attributes of the divinity, unchangeableness. The properties of matter cannot be attributed to God without degrading our idea of the divinity, and all the subtleties of sophistry fail to solve the problem of his essential nature. We do not know what God is, but we know that it is impossible that he should not be, and the theory just stated is in contradiction with his most essential attributes. It confounds the Creator with the creation, precisely as though we should consider an ingenious machine to be an integral portion of the mechanism, the mechanician who invented it. The intelligence of God is revealed in his works, as is that of a painter in his picture. But the works of God are no more God himself than the picture is the artist who conceived and painted it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, some more questions. General elements of the universe. This is chapter 2. Knowledge of the first principle of things, spirit and matter, properties of matter, universal space. Knowledge of the first principle of things. Question. Is it given to mankind to know the first principle of things? Answer. No. There are things that cannot be understood by man in this world. Question. Will man ever be able to penetrate the mystery of things now hidden from him? Answer. The veil will be raised for him in proportion as he accomplishes his purification. But in order to understand certain things, he would need faculties which he does not yet possess. Question: cannot man, through scientific investigation, penetrate some of the secrets of nature? Answer: the faculty of scientific research has been given to him as a means by which he may advance in every direction, but he cannot overstep the limits of his present possibilities. Now, the author adds to this: the further man advances in the study of the mysteries around him, the greater should be his admiration of the power and wisdom of the Creator. But, partly through pride, partly through weakness, his intellect itself often renders him the sport of illusion. He heaps systems upon systems, and every day shows him how many errors he has mistaken for truths, how many truths he has repelled as errors. All this should be a lesson for his pride. Next question: is man permitted to receive communications of a higher order in regard to matters which, not being within the scope of his senses, are beyond the pale of scientific investigation? Answer: yes. When God judges such revelation to be useful, he reveals to man what science is incompetent to teach him. And the author says, it is through communication of this higher order that man is enabled, within certain limits, to obtain a knowledge of his past and of his future destiny. Now, spirit and matter questions. Question: has matter existed from all eternity like God, or has it been created at some definite period of time? Answer: God only knows. There is, nevertheless, one point which your reason should suffice to show you, which is that God, the prototype of love and beneficence, can never have been inactive. However far off in the past you may imagine the beginning of his action, can you suppose him to have been for a single moment inactive? Next question. Matter is generally defined as being that which has extension, that which can make an impression upon our senses, that which possesses impenetrability. Are these definitions correct? Answer: from your point of view, they are correct, because you can only define in accordance with what you know. But matter exists in states which are unknown to you. It may be, for instance, so ethereal and subtle as to make no impression upon your senses, and yet it is still matter, although it would not be as such for you. And I want to add something here. People that are following in this reading of this book might have noticed that I have been catching the orbs, the activity of orbs, that is light, and it seems to be affected by sound too. Beautiful orbs are everywhere, and they're in a realm that we don't see with our natural eye. And we can't deny it, because now, well, at least as far as I'm concerned, I get pictures of these. I see them even without the aid of my camera. And with the aid of my camera, I'm showing other people. And I hope that they will look at those videos where I show orbs that are full of light, and I think also information, because light is information. And I'm really studying this, and I think I will be shown more and more, and I will evolve in the matter of what I am observing, because Spirit always seems to give you more, and you evolve if you show that you're dedicated and you're very interested, and it's not just idle curiosity. Maybe at one time it was idle curiosity on my part, but right now it's like I just have to know more. So do look at my videos of the orbs, because as they say here, There are things so ethereal and subtle as to make no impression upon our senses, but yet it is still matter, although it would not be such for you, they say here. So that's my interjection. Now back to reading the book. Next question. What definition can you give of matter? Answer. Matter is the element which enchains spirit, the instrument which serves it, and upon which, at the same time, it exerts its action. And the author further says, from this point of view, it may be said that matter is the agent, the intermediary through which and upon which spirit acts. Next question. What is spirit? Answer. The intelligent principle of the universe. Next question. What is the essential nature of spirit? Answer. It is not possible to explain the nature of spirit in your language. For you, it is not a thing, because it is not palpable, but for us, it is a thing. Next question. Is spirit synonymous with intelligence? Answer. Intelligence is an essential attribute of spirit, but both merge in a unitary principle, so that, for you, they may be said to be the same thing. Next question. Is spirit independent of matter, or is it only one of the properties of matter, as colors are a property of light and as sound is a property of the air? Answer. Spirit and matter are distinct from one another, but the union of spirit and matter is necessary to give intelligent activity to matter. Next question. Is this union equally necessary to the manifestation of spirit? We refer in this question to the principle of intelligence, abstractly considered, without reference to the individualities designated by that term. Answer. It is necessary for you because you are not organized for perceiving spirit apart from matter. Your senses are not formed for that order of perception. Next question. Can spirit be conceived of without matter and matter without spirit? Answer. Undoubtedly, as objects of thought. Next question. There are then two general elements of the universe, matter and spirit? And the answer is longer. Yes, and above them both is God, the Creator, parent of all things. These three elements are the principle. She says 3 and it said 2. That might be a typo. These two elements, or maybe it's 3, I don't know, are the principle of all that exist. The universal Trinity. Okay, it's 3. So in the question they must have said there are 2 general elements. 3. Well, there are 3. The Trinity. I've interfered too much, but let me get back with reading this. Yes, and above them both is God, the Creator, parent of all things. These 3 elements are the principle of all that exist, the universal Trinity. But to the material element must be added the universal fluid, which plays the part of intermediary between spirit and matter, the nature of the latter being too gross for spirit to be able to act directly upon it. Although, from another point of view, this fluid may be classed as forming part of the material element, it is, nevertheless, distinguished from that element by certain special properties of its own. If it could be classed simply and absolutely as matter, there would be no reason why spirit also should not be classed as matter. It is intermediary between spirit and matter. It is fluid, just as matter is matter, and is susceptible of being made through its innumerable combinations with matter. Under the directing action of spirit, to produce the infinite variety of things of which you know as yet but a very small portion. This universal, primitive, or elementary fluid, being the agent employed by spirit in acting upon matter, is the principle without which matter would remain forever in a state of division and would never acquire the properties given to it by the state of ponderability. Wow, I have to interject here because when I'm looking at orbs with my eyes and not with the aid of the camera, my eyes see so much more. They see all these little things that are floating and it looks like it's in a fluid. I'm seeing orbs that show a fluid and colors. I don't hear any sound yet, but I'm thinking that they're talking about what I'm seeing right here, this fluid. So that's my interjection again. I can't help but do it because this is an incredible thing that I'm viewing. I'm trying to show it to people as best I can, but probably I'm thinking I'm going to have to draw some of what I see because I can't get the camera to capture what it is that I see. Next question: is this fluid what we designate by the name of electricity? Answer: we have said that it is susceptible of innumerable combinations. What you call the electric fluid, the magnetic fluid, etc., are modifications of the universal fluid, which, properly speaking, is only matter of a more perfect and more subtle kind, and that may be considered as having an independent existence of its own. Wow. Okay, next question. Since spirit itself is something, would it not be more correct and clearer to designate these two general elements by the terms inert matter and intelligent matter? Answer: questions of words are of little importance for us. It is for you to formulate your definitions in such a manner as to make yourselves intelligible to one another. Your disputes almost always arise from the want of a common agreement in the use of the words you employ, owing to the incompleteness of your language in regard to all that does not strike your senses. Now the author further puts down this: one fact, patent to all observers, dominates all our hypotheses. We see matter which is not intelligent. We see the action of an intelligent principle independent of matter. The origin and connection of these two things are unknown to us, whether they have or have not a common source and points of contact preordained in the nature of things, whether intelligence has an independent existence of its own, or is only a property or an effect, or even whether it is, as some assume it to be, an emanation of the divinity, are points about which we know nothing. Matter and intelligence appear to us to be distinct, and we therefore speak of them as being two constituent elements of the universe. We see above these a higher intelligence which governs all things and is distinguished from them all by essential attributes peculiar to itself. It is this supreme intelligence that we call God. Properties of matter are the next questions. Is density an essential attribute of matter? Answer: yes, of matter as understood by you, but not of matter considered as the universal fluid. The ethereal and subtle matter which forms this fluid is imponderable for you, and yet it is nonetheless the principle of your ponderable matter. Answer: the author adds this: density is a relative property. Beyond the sphere of attraction of the various globes of the universe, there is no such thing as weight, just as there is neither up nor down. Next question. Is matter formed of one element or of several elements? Answer: of one primitive element. The bodies which you regard as simple are not really elementary. They are transformations of the primitive matter. And question: whence come the different properties of matter? Answer: from the modifications undergone by the elementary molecules as the result of their union and of the action of certain conditions. Next question. According to this view of the subject, savors, odors, colors, sounds, the poisonous or salutary qualities of bodies are only the result of modifications of one and the same primitive substance? Answer: yes, undoubtedly, and that only exists in virtue of the disposition of the organs destined to perceive them. Author's words. This principle is proved by the fact that the qualities of bodies are not perceived by all persons in the same manner. The same thing appears agreeable to the taste of one person and disagreeable to that of another. What appears blue to one person appears red to another. That which is a poison for some is wholesome for others. Next question. Is the same elementary matter susceptible of undergoing all possible modifications and of acquiring all possible qualities? Answer: yes, and it is this fact which is implied in the saying that everything is in everything. That's something Walter Russell says. But then Walter Russell talked to God. Okay, the author says here, oxygen, hydrogen, azote, carbon, and all the other bodies which we regard as simple are only modifications of one primitive substance. But the impossibility in which we have hitherto found ourselves of arriving at this primitive matter otherwise than as an intellectual deduction causes these bodies to appear to us to be really elementary, and we may, therefore, without impropriety, continue for the present to regard them as such. Now, here's the next question. But I have to get at it in the next sessions because I'm running out of time. So I will continue